No, we're good.
All right.
Did it come up over there for you guys?
Yeah.
Cool.
We have one viewer. Two. All right. All right, hello everybody. I'm Jeremy Holke. I'm here with Sam Castiglione. We're gonna go with our first little session here. We're planning on doing this as a monthly occurrence where we're gonna sit down with one of our members of the club. Today we're lucky enough to sit down with Sam, who last year was one of our top pros. He recently just got picked up on sponsorship through Prodigy. And we're gonna do a little bit of an in the bag with him so you see what he has to throw and what he uses for what shots. Also, we're going to talk about an upcoming event at the end of this that has not been released yet. That's a pretty big deal for the area. And we're going to get right into that. We also have a Q&A portion, so if you have any questions, feel free to send them in as Sam is doing his in the bag, and then we'll do a question and answer with him after that. So let's turn it over to Sam.
Thanks for having me, Jer. I look forward to doing this, and other guys coming on here and doing this as well. So, as Jeremy said, I'm a Prodigy sponsored player, so my bag is obviously Prodigy, and the discs in it are Prodigy. So we'll go through them, and I'll let you know what I throw. What I putt with, let's start with those. I putt with the PA3 350s, team stamped. I got these this year. I like the feel of these. They're flat and grippy at the same time, but yet firm. They fly very true to the angle and the line you put them on. And hyzer straight, hyzer shot, very consistent. From the tee, I'll throw a PA4. I have two of them. I have this Dan Hastings Signature Series PA4 350. It's kind of beat up. This is my flip up to finish to the right shot or a forehand touch shot. Very controllable, low speed shot. Not a lot of power goes into this, and it just goes straight. And a 400 series PA4. Stable. Any line you put it on, it's going to hold that line pretty much with about 80% power. You're not trying to throw these hard, just accurate. Up shots, wooded shots, straight lines, anything that you need it just to kind of hold the whole way. That's what I'm using this for. The Approach series. My favorite approach disc is the A4 400. This came out last year. Kind of has a different lip to it, but the disc itself has made a spot in the bag. It's understable to stable at high speeds with then a hard finish, so it's good for a backhand and forehand. Throwing this about 310 to about 260. For straight shots when I need a little finish to the left. It's got a good angle control on it. You know, it's not too understable or too overstable. It's going to hold those lines that you need. The A3 is the longest A series in my bag. It's a overstable disc. Finishes left. Has some pretty good glide for it in being a stable disc. Good in the headwind. Consistent. Use it for forehand as well. Looking to throw this, 250 and under on a hyzer, and forehanding it maybe about 200 on, a typical windy day around here or on a calm day. A new addition to the bag this year is the A2 400. Very stable, not as much glide as the A3. I'm learning this disc doesn't skip as much, and as soon as it's out of your hands, it kind of wants to get down. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with this year. The mid-range. I put a M2 in the bag this year, 750. This plastic's a little firmer, stiffer. Nice looking as well. But the M2 is a very stable disc, straight, and it's finishing left. Predictable in the wind. Hyzer shots, controlled shots. I use the M2 on those types of shots. Side arming it, with I just need something straight and then gentle to the right, but mainly backhand. I don't really throw mid-range an M2 for my sidearms. My favorite mid-range is the M4. I carry 3 of them. This one's pretty stable. I'll throw this for a hyzer shot to finish left with a gentle fade on it. It'll fly straight and then gently come to the left at the end. Also forehanding these down, tunnel shots or tight lines. They're good for that. A first run M4. It is a very nice flip up to straight shot. Holds the line that you put it on. You can, get behind it and trust it that it's not going to just flip over and kind of spin out on you. It's going to rise up and hold that straight line. And if you put a little too much, it'll just finish to the right. And then this white M4 I picked up in Tennessee from a Prodigy guy, Ryan Watson, last year. He was selling these. I bought one. It is true to the angle you put it on. Put it on Anheuser, holds it. Straight shot, holds it. Hyzer holds it. One of my go-to mid-range shots. The fairway drivers. They make F1s all the way down to F7s. And I throw, right now, 3 of them. My favorite and go-to fairways are the F3s, 400 or 400G. These are flip up to straight shots. I'm throwing these on tunnel shots in woods, tight fairways, accuracy for about 370 and in to about 300. Very reliable. They have a nice glide to them, and they finish true to the angle you put them on. The F2, more stable. I'll get behind this a little more when I need extra distance or throwing it harder in wind. It'll hold a similar line, but I know that it's not going to peel out on me or finish to the right when I need it to stay on a hyzer. So that's when I'll use the F2 and another F3 that's pretty stable. And then for rollers or turnover shots, I'll use an F7. It is very understable, but you don't have to put a lot on it. So you're not overthrowing this shot to get that left to right. It'll just kind of hold that line, and if you get enough air under it, it'll just finish off to the right. And rollers. Very consistent roller disc. It'll finish to the right. Let's see, the H series. I throw 2 of those. I have the H1 that I put in my bag last year. Very stable. Headwind shots, forehand shots that I need to kind of carve up in the woods, finish off to the left and then dump right. The H1 has that stability, troubled shots, forehand rollers, even, overhand shots. This is my go-to for that. My go-to H series are the H3s. I use this for the majority of my hyzer shots under 320. Very consistent. Forehanding it under 400. Forehanding this one about 250 and in. Very consistent. This yellow one I've had in the bag for a year, so it's kind of beat up. It'll flip up, hold, finish to the right on a forehand. And this new one, 750, more stable, so I can get behind it a little more. It'll hold the hyzer line and finish off to the right for me. Now the drivers. I have a few of them, and they rotate in and out depending on what course I'm playing or the conditions I'm playing in. An X1, if you throw Prodigy, you got to find an X1. They don't make them anymore as of right now. A utility disc, very friendly in the wind for backhands and forehands, overhands. Very flat, very fast disc, very reliable in the wind. I don't use this much unless it's windy out, but it's kind of always in the bag. My street team stamp from last year. This is a D1 400G. The minute I had it, it was in my bag, and it's going to stay in my bag. It is very glidey for a D1, but very stable. So I'll use this for headwind shots, 400, an S shot, long hyzers, very reliable. My longest discs are the D2s. I throw these the farthest. any shot I'm looking to go over 400 with. The D2 is that disc. This one is my go-to. This yellow one, I'll throw this one. Like I said, most holes over 400 where accuracy is not an issue. They're fast and pretty consistent to their flights. This is a new one that I'm learning this year. It's a Yuli stamped D2 400G. This one's a little more stable that I'm learning about, and I look forward to getting to know this one a little more. And then my favorite go-to drivers are the D3s. This one is very understable. This is a Shore Winds Shootout stamped one that I got from Luke earlier in the season. Again, I had it for about 5 minutes, and it was a go-to in the bag. Flip up, tunnel shots, anything I wanted to finish to the right, and also a roller disc for distance. And then my main driver that I throw probably 60% of the time when I'm going for 350 or over is this blue D3 400G. Stable, consistent. Any angle I put it on, I know how it's going to fly in the wind. Very consistent. So, like I said, I change in and out sometimes. It's depending on the course, but that's what's in my bag right now.
It's a lot of discs.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. It doesn't seem that much when you're carrying them around, but
Is your back strong?
No, I got a cart for that now.
Oh.
So
You're getting old.
yeah.
How many years away from Masters are you?
Oh, 2. Only 2.
Wow.
Yeah. So all you young guys, come on up. All right, it's time.
We did have one question during that. Todd Lee asks, what's the difference with the stiffer plastic?
It's a good question. With Prodigy, you have a 400G and a 400, and if you look at them, I'm gonna get one out here. The 400 is more opaque. All right, you can kind of see through it. Might be a little slick, I guess, is a good way to describe the 400 compared to the 400G. The G is just, people say it stands for grip, but it's a little more tackier than the 400. The 750 is harder. It's harder, more durable. So what's going to happen is the integrity of this disc, the 750, it's going to stay truer to what it is the day you buy it. Where the 400G 400s, they'll break in a little quicker. And then obviously the 350 and the 300s and the 200s, they'll break in even quicker because their plastic is just a little softer of a mix. But it's really the difference is how long you want something to stay true to the form that you put it in your bag. And if you hit trees with it, will also indicate how quickly it's going to change. But the 750 is the strongest and most, I guess, durable plastic. So hopefully that answers that.
You never hit trees.
Never on purpose.
It's good. All right, so if there's any other questions, keep sending them in, guys. It's the one I saw right now. Richard just said he asked a question. I don't know what the question was. And it's Richard, so it's okay. So let's get to the questions we have prepared. What was your best moment of 2016?
Probably the sponsorship. Earlier in the year, I was brought on the street team, kind of an ambassador sponsorship, and then just to carry out the season, finishing strong, and then getting picked up on the tournament team, I guess was, collectively the best moment. It's always been a dream of mine to be, picked up and sponsored, so I would have to put that at the top of my list.
Yeah, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
That's pretty incredible. What was your favorite tournament from last year, and why?
My favorite tournament would probably be Toronto Island. The course itself is a championship level course. It was an A tier. I finished in the top 5, which was the goal last year. And I traveled with Paul Ulibarri, Dan Hastings, and Ricky Steeler. And we stayed up in this beautiful multi-million-dollar condo overlooking Lake Ontario. And it was sponsored by Prodigy. So the whole weekend itself was just an amazing weekend.
It's quite a foursome.
It was. We had a great time. It really was a good weekend.
What so out of the local courses, which one's your favorite one?
Well, probably Beaver Island, just as I live on Grand Island. I know Newfane. I helped design it and install it, so it's kind of biased there. But in terms of, longevity and playing the courses, I'd say Beaver as of right now.
What about overall? I know it's a hard question.
It is.
You
But
know, maybe your
Maple
top
Hill.
couple.
Maple Hill. Maple Hill in Massachusetts. They do the Maple Hill Open or the Vibram Open. And also Moraine Park in Pennsylvania. Probably my favorite two to play.
You're headed to Pennsylvania this weekend.
Nob Hill.
Yeah.
First tournament of the year.
First sanction one?
Yeah.
You ready to bring back home a championship?
Yeah. We got some New Yorkers going down, so hopefully we bring it back.
Yeah. We have representation in rec, intermediate, advanced, and
Wow.
open this weekend.
Wow, we can sweep it.
So Pittsburgh better watch
The
out.
last one we went down for, we swept. Alan Coons his first win, Dan second, me third. So I don't know if they like us coming down.
They're going to deal with us all year long. All right, so can you tell us just a little more about your Prodigy sponsorship?
Sure. Right now I'm on the tournament team, which basically allows me to use their product and represent them. They give us, the discs, and we have to, play in a certain amount of tournaments. And, based upon how we perform, they, reimburse us in different ways. And they give us, shirts and bags and all that stuff. So again, it's a dream come true to have not to pay for this stuff, and that Prodigy supplies it for you, and they trust that you're representing them in a way that's professional on and off the course, maybe not just through your play, but in running events or just being a member of the disc golf community. So it's just fun. It's fun to know that you're backed by a company.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So what tournament are you most looking forward to this year?
Well, any local one's good, but probably the NT event that's coming to Moraine. It's at my favorite park, in this area, Moraine State Park. All 3 rounds are being played there, and you got the best of the best coming in town. So it's a great way to measure yourself up against them. Play a course I'm familiar with, and see how it goes. And it's only about a 2.5 hour drive away. So we got to be excited about that.
For some of you that don't know, it's the Pittsburgh Flying Disc Open is the last weekend of August, I believe. 27th, 28th, don't quote me on the dates. It's a national tour event, so all the top pros will be in there playing, and Sam obviously will be out there competing right with them, and hopefully I can caddy for him, and he'll be up there. Hopefully we'll be streaming live, on
That's
the top
the idea.
card.
That's the idea.
Bring home some money and get featured. All right, so you mentioned a bunch of go-to discs.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our viewers said that.
Yeah.
If you had to go out on a course and there was one disc that wasn't in your bag, which one would you be most upset that wasn't there? Your main go-to.
Ooh. Probably the F3, because I can control the F3 for shots, around 200, 300, and if I can get lucky, 400. So I guess that would cover a lot of holes around here. So if that's not in my bag, I'd have to figure out real quick how to get around that course. So it'd be the F3.
Okay, good. How many aces do you have?
I believe 16 now. I have 16 aces.
Do you remember your first one?
I do.
What disc was it with and what hole?
It was hole 9 at Joseph Davis. It's a lot of people's first course around here to get an ace at.
Ooh, nine's not an easy one.
No, I got the telephone pole and the road, and it was before they knocked down all the bushes. I believe it was about a 25 mile per hour tailwind, and I threw a first run T-Rex, and it went about 80 feet into the air, and then it just hyzered, and we heard it. Like, we couldn't see it. I was there with Mike Stewart and his boss on lunch break, and yeah, that was it. I think it was in 2004 maybe was the first one. So yeah, that was it.
That's pretty
It
cool.
was. It was fun to get the first one, and it's fun to get the next one.
Yeah.
They're always fun to get.
And hole 9 at the Dizzle is probably not it's probably one of the least holes ace there, I'd say.
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
happen
back
much.
then, those baskets were not as kind as they are today, and I use kind very loosely at the Dizzle.
We have a question from Dan Hastings of what is your most memorable win?
Well, it could be when I beat you at Shorewinds Hastings. That was pretty memorable. That was a good one. It's tough to beat Dan. and that's up there with probably the BFDO this year, with me and Ricky Steeler battling it out all weekend long. To go down to the last 5 holes tied and to kind of go back and forth there. Very, very intense and emotional, but that's just to execute what I needed to do and come out on top was pretty special as well. So either you, Dan, because I love beating you, and Ricky at the BFDO.
So I remember when the cards came in and seeing the final scores, and then hearing the story after.
Intense. It was intense.
Pretty intense. That's good. Light competition around there. It's great.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
And Will Unger does remind you that you did deuce 18 during that.
That
18 at Beaver, deuce. That's a good one.
And it was recommended by Dan to throw a roller in order to deuce it, so,
It's a good job. So, who do you like playing on a card with the most?
Yeah. Well, locally, I guess, Dan. Me and Dan have been playing together a while. And it's been nice to watch his game progress to where it's at today. So I love competing against him. I'm his biggest fan, but also his biggest competitor. He's probably the most my most favorite disc golf around here. But then if you go on the big tours, it's always fun to play with the big pros. Mm-hmm. And in the second and third round, if you're playing with them, you're doing something right. So it's always fun to earn the right to play with the best in the world.
So in 5 months, we'll be doing that.
Hopefully.
Right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully second and third round, we're up there with the big guys. So.
I like it. Josh Padish has a question of what are the best baskets to play on, the pros and cons?
Oh, it's a good question. I'd say a few years ago, my favorite were the Discraft baskets. And for the reason that they seem to be fuller in chains. They don't get the disc to the pole. As I've figured out, especially the Mocs, that they seem to have a design flaw. And then when Prodigy came out with their baskets, not to, be biased, but the way I putt and the way I hit,
You're allowed to be.
The way I hit, I've never had a spit out directly on the pole in the heart of a basket on a Prodigy basket, but I've had those on every other basket, hitting dead center. So I liked Prodigy before we installed them at Newfane. I liked them before I was picked up by them. I just see that, when you hit the area you need to hit, it should stay in, and I've seen spit outs on most baskets, and I've seen some spit outs on Prodigies where people might, say, oh, these baskets are tight or they don't catch, but, they're not in the heart when they spit out. So I'd say Prodigy right now is my favorite to putt on.
So, what is the best tip that you've ever received in regards to disc golf?
Probably 2. Maybe about 5 years ago, Eric McCabe came through and was playing at the Charlie Cookout, and he said that, once you commit to your shot and it's out of your hands, there's nothing you can do. So just believe in your form, believe in your technique, and that's it. So I try to, keep that in my mind, when things aren't going as well as I would have liked. And then even this year, when Paul Ulibarri came through, we had a good talk about mentally preparing. And he just said, you just got to believe everything's going to be all right, no matter what. No matter if your disc goes obese or you miss a putt, it's the next shot. And you just got to, just tell yourself everything's going to be all right. So, it's hard to do that. And, we get frustrated and, and it gets heavy. But, keeping yourself in that frame of mind really saves you strokes in the end.
Yeah. No, that's good advice because once the shot's done, you can't go back and throw it
There's
over.
only so much you can do.
Once the hole's over, you just got to move forward. So I think that's a big mental struggle for a lot of players.
Yeah.
We have a question from Steve Gregg of who or what got you first started playing disc golf?
Oh, that's a good question. It was 2002, and some of my good buddies, Joe Conti and Mike Stewart, moved in across the street from hole 16 at the Dizzle. There's houses across the street there, and they lived in the basement of one of them. And I was away working, and they said, we're buying discs. When you're in town, we're going to go play. And when the summer was over, we just started playing as much as we could. And then we started to become students of the game, and and that's what really happened. We got involved in the local leagues and then local tournaments, and that's really where it began. You know.
That's cool.
It
Must be nice to live right next to the Dizzle, too,
It was.
huh?
It was. Just walk right across the street and you're on hole 17 teeing off. You know? It was nice.
So what kind of stuff can the community expect from the club this year? You are vice president.
I am.
So what kind of things can the community expect?
I think they can expect some quality run events. We got our leagues that are going to be starting in a couple months. We have our series that is starting next week, and our sanction events will be coming out next month as well. We got a great group of tournament directors and league directors and volunteers to help out. So I think in terms of our events that, people should look forward to them. The one that you're running, is almost full, and that's not until July. So you already look at, people being interested and looking forward to them. It's a good sign to come. And also just being more available, more out there, doing things like this, just getting our presence felt and continue to work on our relationships in the community with different groups that, can benefit from disc golf. I think it's going to be important for us in moving forward.
Yeah, I heard there's a tournament next month, April 15th at Beaver.
Yeah, it's not up there.
I don't see any information about it, though.
It's we had a TD.
Who's running the event?
We had a baby, so we had to kind of switch it up. So I think me and you are going to be running that.
Oh, we are running.
But that's not the announcement.
That is not the announcement.
So,
but there is a Beaver. Our first sanctioned event of the year is April 15th, I believe. It's a Saturday. It's at Beaver Isle. It's a C tier. Sam and I are running it. Yeah. We promise to get everything up. We promise to be a good event, so...
Hopefully the snow's gone by then.
Yeah, we'll make sure the snow's gone. Maybe.
That's good.
All right. So, would you rather play in rain or snow?
Ooh, do I have a choice today? It doesn't look like I do. But snow. I would rather play in snow as long as my footing was secure. Rain. Once everything gets wet, I have a difficulty time gripping the discs, and during long rounds, if you're waiting on tees during tournaments, and if it's 40 to 50 degrees, it gets damp and cold. You start to lose that feeling, and your fingers get waterlogged, and your towels are wet and they're not drying, and it's more of a hassle and to execute and keep your mind frame in the right place because you're worried about too many things. So it would be snow. I do not like the rain.
You need lots of towels either way.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. But
don't forget your towels. All right, final question. Unless anybody puts anything in, this is probably the most important one.
Yeah.
Chocolate or rainbow sprinkles?
Well, it's a rainbow sprinkles all the way. I'm not a chocolate fan, so that's just an easy
That's the
one.
right answer.
Oh, well, that's good. It was an easy one. That's an easy one.
You passed.
Oh, good.
We may have a viewer not too happy with that answer, but
hey,
he'll get over it.
To each their own,
We have Mighty Taco or Taco Bell.
Mighty Taco. Absolutely. Western New York all the way.
Good. I don't see any other questions. Yes, Sam does like cherry dipped, but that wasn't the question, Dan, so get over it. You lost. It's rainbow sprinkles.
Yeah. I was limited to my answer. Sorry, Dan.
So that was our question and answer portion. We're going to wrap this up with talking a little bit about our big tournament announcement that we want for everybody. So do you want to take that away?
Yeah, just me and Jeremy came together, and we are planning a AM-only tournament, sanctioned B tier. It's going to be the Western New York AM Championship. And the idea behind this was to, focus on our biggest number of disc golfers in the area and to bring outsiders in over the next couple years to really make it a destination for the traveling AM player. We have a big draw out of state, with our AM group going places to play and getting the feedback from them and hearing what they've had to say. We wanted to kind of, create that here. So on June 17th and 18th, we're going to be doing a AM only B tier. It's going to be at Beaver Island. We're going to add a couple holes, very similar to the BFDO if you played it last year. Not the exact same holes, but very similar. And like I said, it's going to be the idea is to grow this hopefully into an A tier for AMs and we're ready to do it as early as next year, based on the success and push that we can get over the next year afterwards. So looking forward to running it with Jeremy, looking forward to being out there, meeting the AMs and getting to know them and getting their feedback after the event to see if we can really push this area, because we feel that's our strongest area right now. So that's the big announcement. So hopefully it's something that we do for the years to come.
Yeah, we I've played in other AM events in other states as big as the Bowling Green Amateur Championships, which is 3 days, and there's fly march, and it's one of the biggest ones in the country. It's amazing, like 500, 600 people in it. Played in ones in Ohio, which are normal, 100-person fields, and they've always been a great job. And as an amateur player, it makes you feel really special to go into a Final 9 if you qualify for it, and everything's about you. So that's what we're doing with this event. Is the value of your player pack is going to be more than even what it costs you to play. And then we're planning on holding some fundraisers and raising the money to have a full payout also. So I can guarantee you, AMs, that this is the event that you 100% want to be a part of. We definitely want to grow this to an A tier next year, as Sam said. If we can, we're going to do it. We've already talked to PDGA, and these are our plans. We want to get Buffalo on the map of some big event, and we think this could be one of our best opportunities to do that. So, we appreciate all you guys coming out to all the events we have, and there's almost 100 AMs signed up for BFDO already. So, we'll have details on this out in probably the next couple of weeks, but June 17th, June 18th, Western New York Amateur Championships, trying to draw from other states, put Buffalo on the map, just make things bigger. So I want to thank Sam for his time today.
Thank you.
And I hope you guys appreciated this. As I said, we're going to do this monthly. We're going to reach out, see who we can get in here to interview, and, just kind of do this every month. So if you want to send me feedback personally, or Sam personally, on what you liked about this, what you didn't, any thoughts for the future, we're definitely open to it. And we'll see everybody out on the course. We'll see you in May. Thanks a lot.
See you guys.